The new one is like, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like we're live.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Eric, and I'm your co-chair. John McCall will not be here this afternoon. Uh, uh, and I ask is peculiar, interest, victim interest. Seeing that there's time, we're gonna continue our meeting. Yeah, you're okay. Okay.
Okay, we have with us Leslie Zotchin, ASL interpreter. And out of respect for the interpreter doing a good job actively interpreting, no sidebar conversation. Please.
It's a delayed react, like, of what you guys are saying, but very delayed and we can hear it, which is
Can
odd.
you turn the volume down?
There we go.
Awesome. Okay,
Welcome, Leslie.
Thank you. Okay, first one is the presentation.
Okay, one of our members, Carol Mangum, and her friend Carol. Karen, sorry, they both have, assistive dogs.
guide dog.
So they're going to explain to our committee what the guide's dogs do.
Okay, before we start though, could I have everybody introduce themselves around the table so I know where everybody's sitting? And we're explaining this.
Yes. Greg, will you start?
Greg Kohler, do you remember?
Wayne, can you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm Wayne, I'm a member.
Sierra Marchbank support staff.
Diane Morale, accessibility coordinator.
Jared Lavalley.
Carol Magnan, committee member.
Sandra Hollingsworth, city councilor.
Karen Denhoff.
Carrie Tuckett, deafblind intervener.
Diane Bearhart, committee member.
Peter Tanazo with the planning department.
Okay, Carol, just one moment before you jump into the presentation. We also have Zoe Sanguinetti here with us from the city, and she's taking pictures. If there was anybody who was not interested in having their pictures taken, please let me know. It's not mandatory. I just like some pictures of committee members and committee people doing things in the community. So if you don't object, she'll be taking a few pictures while we have our meeting, okay? I don't see any objections, Zoe. Okay,
Here was we're gonna go with Carol.
yes.
Carol.
Okay. I wanted to start out with Diane reading the Blind Persons Rights Act. Okay. So the Blind Persons Rights Act is legislation that came long before the ODA and the AODA. It is the very first piece of accessibility legislation. It's not long, but I'll just take a couple minutes and read it. So definitions under the act. Blind person means a person who, because of blindness, is dependent on a guide dog or white cane. And guide dog means a dog trained as a guide for the blind person and having the qualifications prescribed by the regulations.
The act applies despite any other act or regulation, bylaw, or rule made thereunder. Guide dogs are permitted in places to which public is admitted. So no person directly or indirectly, alone or with another, by himself, herself, or itself, or by the interposition of another, shall deny any person the accommodation, services, or facilities available in any place to which the public is customarily admitted, or discriminate against a person with respect to the accommodation, services, or facilities available in any place to which the public is customarily admitted, or the charges for the use thereof, for the reason that he or she is a blind person accompanied by a guide dog. Guide dogs permitted in self-contained dwelling units. No person directly or indirectly, alone or with another, by himself, herself, or itself, or by the interposition of another, shall deny to any person occupancy of any self-contained dwelling unit, or discriminate against any person with respect to any term or condition of occupancy of any self-contained dwelling unit, for the reason that he or she is blind, person keeping, or customarily accompanied by a guide dog. Other facilities. Nothing in this section shall be construed to entitle a blind person to require any service, facility, or accommodation in respect of a guide dog other than the right to be accompanied by the guide dog. Restriction on use of white cane. No person other than a blind person shall carry or use a cane or walking stick, the majority part of which is white, in any public place, public thoroughfare, or public conveyance. Identification cards. The Attorney General or an officer of his or her ministry designated by the Attorney General in writing may, upon application thereafter, therefore issue a blind person an identification card for the blind person and his or her guide dog. Cards as proof of qualification. An identification card used under subsection 1 is proof in the absence of evidence to the contrary that the blind person and the guide dog identified therein are qualified for the purposes of this act. I'll go through that next part. Let's see. Regulations. The Lieutenant Governor and Council may make regulations prescribing qualifications for guide dogs. Penalty. Every person who is in contravention of section 2 is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable to a fine not exceeding $5,000. Every person who is in contravention of section 3 or who, not being a blind person, purports to be a blind person for the purpose of claiming the benefit of this act is guilty of an offense and on conviction is liable to a fine not exceeding $500. And that's it. Thanks, Carol.
Okay, and so I'm new at being a guide dog owner. We're considered a team now. So we invited Karen, who is more experienced for a few years. And she's gonna discuss a few things, give a couple of pointers. And when Diane was talking about the ID card, Karen has these ID cards. Do you have them all, Karen?
No, I will get them.
Okay, and she's gonna say a little bit, elaborate a little bit more on these ID cards.
Okay, I didn't prepare anything, so, as it's probably not easy for me to read any notes that I want to do. I'll pass around my, I've had Tula now for 8 years. She turns 10. And I'm in the process now of applying for a successor dog, because when she turns 11, I get myself a new dog. And I have the option to adopt her from the school, as the school is, the school is, I'm her handler, but the school still owns her until I adopted her right. So, they, so, I don't know what I'm thinking there. As far as the ID cards go, I'm quite surprised with, the 8 years I've had her, that I've only been asked twice for ID. And I have family all over the US, I have family down in Southern Ontario. And the only 2 times I've been asked for ID is recently at the Walmart in Sault Ste. Marie. And I thanked her when she asked me, she said, do you have ID? I said, absolutely, and I'm so glad that you asked, because nobody ever asked. And the other person was the driver of the Ontario Northland, because I booked a ticket to go to Bruce Mines. And he asked me for proof of her ID. Asked me for my paperwork, actually, and I found it in my print off of my bus ticket. And said, no, this is not what I'm wanting. I went, oh. And I showed him my cards and, but that's one of the things that I find very, disheartening is that nobody ever asks for them. Because I think they should. I think it should be almost, if you have a dog that you say is a guide dog, you are to carry your license to have that dog to go anywhere.
Karen's gonna pass it around so everybody can see what they look
Well,
like.
that's my feeling, I do.
And while everybody's looking at that, there was, a couple other pointers we wanted to touch
I
on.
have to.
And one of them is, the dog harness, what it means, what people should be doing, and what it means, why you shouldn't disturb them. And Karen's gonna explain a little bit about that, the harness and, disturbing the dog.
As much as everybody wants to pet the dog, they're not, I've had to put a thing on her saying with a stop sign, they do not pet. It's important that the dog doesn't get, and one of the things that I know Canadian Tire is pet friendly, but not to a guide dog, it isn't. Because I was in there one time and, a lady came in with her German Shepherd. And I'm walking down the aisle and this dog started barking, which made her freeze and stop because now she's on alert. And, so I had to walk her down another aisle. And I thought, it's okay for, people to bring their dogs. I can see the pet store, Pet Value and Pet Smart, you bring your dog in there and you're getting stuff. But as far as big, stores like that, I found it very, disturbing for my dog. But, what can you do? Anyway, I don't know, because,
Like when their harness is on.
oh yeah, well, they're working, as soon as I put that harness on her, she's a statue, she won't move. And I could lay her leash down in the middle of Walmart at the cashier, whatever, I can throw her leash on her back, and she will not move until I tell her to move, or I start walking and she'll walk beside me. When I take that harness off, then she is like a pet. One of the things that she does not do is bark. When I'm in my apartment, anybody knocks on the door, she will not bark. She will go to the door, stand at the door, because I know there's something going on. Or I can hear it knock, but they do not bark. dogs, I don't know, does anybody have any
The traits.
that they?
People have a habit of wanting to feed these dogs.
Yeah,
And
well, that's.
Karen's gonna explain how important it is, their diet. That
Right.
you can't sneak at food.
Right. Um. Sometimes people would ask, do you mind, you know, I've had people come up and say, well, you know, cause they carry a dog biscuit because they have dogs or something. Is it okay if I give your dog a treat? That would be my discretion. If I say, yeah, okay, go ahead, you can, but not directly just giving the dog food or treats. It's very important that they don't feed them because they're on a very restricted diet as well. She gets no human food whatsoever, unless I drop a chip or something, she may, but she'll wait before she picks it up. She won't eat it, unless I say it's okay. But, and they eat at a specific time, and so I know when she eats, how much she's eaten, and drinking as well. Because if there's any time at the last minute that I have to go somewhere, I know that, well, she normally has a food there at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I know that. So I go for, when I go onto the airplane, by the way, Porter lets me have the seat next to me empty, and she gets to lay on the floor beside me. Not on the seat, of course, she's not allowed on any furniture at all. The only two places that I cannot take her, which the school told me, there's two places you cannot take your dog, and that is in the operating room of a hospital and the kitchen in restaurant. That is two places she's not allowed to go. If I'm in the hospital for 5 days, I can bring my dog with me and she can stay with me. So they cannot stop me from having my dog with me.
Now, I don't know if anybody's noticed, her dog's getting ready to retire, mine is new.
Yeah.
The harnesses are different.
Yeah.
A lot of the schools are going with the new harness, which is mine.
Yeah.
And when she gets her new dog, she will no longer have that type of a harness,
Right.
okay? So there's different opinions on the harnesses, what people think of them and stuff like that. But a lot of people don't know what kind of harness this is. And it is for a guide dog. And it originally started, they use it for running. But now we're using it as our harness. The other two things I just wanted to point out is the newer dogs now, because society has changed so much, the new dogs have learned how to do different things. They still learn the same things that Karen's dog has learned. But when she had her dog, the APSs, they were just starting out, or they didn't really know a lot about them. But now, my dog can bring me to the APS at the corner. If I tell him to find it for me, he'll bring it, so I know where to press the button. And the last thing I just wanted to,
Sorry, Carol, just for the interpreter, APS means what?
accessible pedestrian signal. Thank you. And that's the button you press at the lights and you can hear it beeping. Okay, thank you. And, the last thing I wanted to, say was, when site plans or new buildings are being built or events or parks or anything, there's only a handful of guide dogs here in town, but there's gonna be more. As the years go on, there's gonna be more and more and more. And when plans are being set up for anything, please take into consideration the dog relief stations, and there is all kinds of designs. And, they're easy to clean, they can be maintained free. They've got all indoor ones. The Toronto Airport has indoor ones. There's all different designs. And, a pet relief station, not too far away from the building, because we don't know where it is. And any walking trails or anything downtown or whatever, you should have pet relief stations every couple of blocks or something.
And what do? They let it go to the.
It's for them to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah, and, you can even have a hose hooked up. You can have a garbage can beside it. We usually have our own bags. But even, I think somewhere in the city, they do have bags for the people that don't have bags. I don't know if they still do that. Yeah, but there's different designs and, most of them can be pretty well maintained by the person who uses them with their dog. So they pick it up themselves, they put it in the garbage. And if there's a hose there, just hose it down because usually it's on a little bit of a slope. And at the end of the slope, there's usually like a grill. Okay, and the pee and everything goes in the grill. And then the poop, you pick it up and put it in the garbage. You take the hose it down, and you're done.
Is it for all dogs?
All dogs. Yeah, all dogs. And, I, passed around some bookmarkers that everybody can have. Keep it in your books, and it's all about guide dog etiquette. And if you have any questions,
Got a question. I do.
I'm Sarah.
oh, Sandra,
Yeah, that's okay. Through your chair, if I may. Carol, you mentioned about, right now in the zoo, there's about a handful of people that have guide dogs.
Mhm.
Is there a local organization that an individual can contact to, one, learn more about guide dog etiquette, two, that could make a donation to a local, guide dog, chapter or group? And basically, yeah, those are my two questions for now.
There is nothing local. There are different guide dog schools across Canada and the United States. So depending on where people want to get their dog, it's their choice. So, I wouldn't say any certain school, because we've got one in Oakville, and then there's a totally different one in, I think, Ottawa. And then there's gonna be another one from CNIB. I'm not sure where that one's gonna be. There's gonna be a new one opening up in, I think BC somewhere. And a lot of them go in the States and get their dogs,
Okay.
okay? So,
Can I just add
I was
something?
gonna, yeah,
Guide dogs are used, there's like 7 different programs that they train guide dogs for. Autism, seizure response, diabetic, facility. That they take a dog to a facility that needs, common, people. Special needs, people in wheelchairs and stuff can get a guide dog. Hearing, vision.
emergency services.
Well, that's,
Mhm.
yeah, that's under either the
Mental health. And
They grouped it under the same, for physical or mental disability, they grouped them one when we just looked it
I
up.
looked that up, yeah.
And I guess my last question is if there's, guide dogs are not inexpensive, they're not cheap. And so,
$35,000.
right, so if someone wants to make a donation or,
The guide dog, the Lions guide dogs down in Oakville, they're the ones I got Tula, and that's where Carol got, Osmond. I'm a Lion member as well, Lion clubs. They have one in the, I'm getting transferred from St. Joe's Island Lions Club to the Sault Ste. Marie Lions Club. They have the Pet Value Walk for guide dogs every year in May, I think it is, whereby, they do a lot of, fundraising for the guide dogs, the Lions Foundation of Guide Dogs. They, for me, and anybody that applies for a guide dog and gets accepted, pay nothing for the dog. you don't pay for your transportation down to Oakville for training. They put you in they pay for everything. There's not 1 cent I spent when I went down to get to that, and I still don't pay, I never paid anything for her, because a lot of the Lions clubs donate money, like the St. John's Island Lions Club. Every year they donated, well, we actually sponsored a guide dog. Not for Tula, because they just send the money to the school. But a lot of Lions Club donate money for the guide dogs, the Lions guide dogs. In order to make it does not cost anything for the person that needs the dog. It's free. I pay the vet bills, I pay for all her food, but of course, all her expenses is, I claim a my income tax. For anything pertaining to Tula, new bed, toys, food, vet bill, anything. I keep the receipts and I claim it on my income tax. So, yeah, that's important. So the Lions, I know the Lions, I mean, they have other facilities like Carol was saying in Ottawa. But the Lions, the Lions guide dog is for all of Canada. When I was in the school there was a lady from New Brunswick there. And they trained them all in the same facility. The deaf, the blind, the autistic, all in the same school. So it's for all of Canada. And they do that pet value for right across Canada.
Thank you.
I have another question from the floor, if that's okay. Craig?
Mr. Chairman, through you to the ladies. With regard to the Blind Persons Rights Act, are you aware of anyone ever being charged? Legislation's been there since 1919. How often?
1990 is for the blind person that was 1990. I think.
Yeah, 1990.
1990?
Yeah.
Has there been a successful prosecution?
I have no,
I don't think so, I don't know.
not very much.
I don't know. I've
If-
I've been with people where they weren't allowed any place and they showed their attorney general card. And it said, you say, hey, look at the fine you're gonna get. You can phone the police.
It's not mandatory, you have the attorney general card, as
No.
long as, like, the school gave us, gave us a form to send in for the attorney general's office one.
And it's different now.
Because it says right on the back of it that there is a $5,000 fine. If I go into any place and they say, no, you're not allowed here with your dog, no dogs, no dogs. I just show them the card, and if they still refuse, I phone the police. Police will come and say, yeah, it's the law, you gotta let her in, if not, they'll charge you.
As a student of law, back in the mid-80s, ladies, one of my classmates traversed the world with a seeing eye dog. The dog had a better grasp of the building than some of the staff. There was an incident in a local restaurant. And another person who used to traverse the world with a seeing eye dog had been refused service. My colleague took the case in front of a provincial court judge. The restaurant owner lost his liquor license for 2 years. Basically put the restaurant out of business. Now, London is also the headquarters of the provincial school for the blind and deaf, you may be aware. And it was the only time I'm aware of an incident going before the courts. I wondered if there had been any more current. That was a few decades ago now.
Yeah.
So that was the genesis of my question, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else for questions, comments?
It's Sandra again.
Okay,
for me, this was very informative. I want to say thank you, for coming today. And, please keep us up to date on what else we can do. Thank you.
With that, I would like to thank Karen and Carol for doing the presentation today. Oh, yes, every year, the city of Sault Ste. Marie asks us as volunteers, even though we're not working a paid position here, we are still required to do the customer service training. And guess what time it is, folks? It's that time of year where we do.
We did customer service training years ago. It
Yeah.
hasn't been an annual requirement,
Okay,
but it does need to be done. There is no requirement for updates on it, but we have several new committee members. So, when I sent out the agenda, they are live links to the training, so it's on the accessible customer service and the human rights code. So it is mandatory. We've recently received desk audit from the Ministry for Seniors and Accessibility, and that was one area where we were deficient. All staff, all volunteers, staff get the training, but volunteers do not. Third-party contractors also require the training. So we're in the process of implementing that. And so our volunteers are required to do that. If anybody wants to do it as a group, we can arrange that time at the Accessibility Center. Just send me an email and let me know that that's something you're interested in, but we don't have to do it as a group. It's very easy to go through it at your own pace, at your own time, in your own home. So please let me know when that's complete. Send me an email if you're doing it on your own, okay?
okay, we're on to full business.
And from the September 11th, 2024 meeting, when Carol did a presentation about some of the things that have been not addressed in a timely manner. We have with us Dan Perry, who's with Public Works, and he is going to be our liaison for the committee. He'll attend meetings whenever possible, but it's a very busy position, right, Dan?
Yeah.
Yes, so, Carol and I met with Dan earlier this week, I think, to talk about some of the things with the accessible pedestrian signals, and we'll continue that discussion. So all of those items either have been addressed or in process of being addressed. Would you agree with that, Carol? Are we on track? Yeah. Okay, thank you. Another old business is from the October 9th, 2024 meeting, when I believe, Sandra, you brought forward to discuss about developing a priority list of countdown timer intersections.
Yes.
So I've spoken with Dan, and our site plan subcommittee will follow up on that and develop the list. Forward to Dan. All right.
We have also the plaza update. We have a table that we use for people to get changed. At the downtown new plaza, they put one in and we've had to do some.
No, it hasn't been installed.
Oh,
That's-
okay.
That's the problem.
Okay,
So the update is that there are some logistical problems with that site. We're working through it. The committee had committed funds, $6,000 for it in June. And I just wanted everybody to know that it's in progress, but there are some additional things that we have to work through before we'll be able to install that. So stay tuned and I'll let you know when I have some updates.
okay.
Okay. No barrier removal updates.
No barrier updates as of late.
And then the next one is this site plan, subcommittee report.
Okay, so we had two we had a playground at St. Charles.
No playgrounds. No, the site plan reports were distributed, so there was, the 540 and 548 Albert Street, which is the old and the new DSAP.
Okay, oh, that one, okay.
And one before that, was the Plaza patio extension.
Okay,
So there's gonna be an event coming in for New Year's Eve at the patio, at the plaza. And they'll be extending the patio, and the committee was asked for their feedback on the site plans that they plan to have. So is there any questions about anything that was in the report?
with that, we're done with the site plan report.
We're done with the site plan reports, and we're actually done on the agenda, but you know what we didn't do there?
What,
We didn't, have our minutes approved from last meeting.
oops,
Okay.
we don't. Okay. Can I get a motion? From whoever from the board? Or
Well, yeah, ask for,
can I get a motion from the floor that we approve, last meeting minutes?
I'll motion.
I need a seconder as well, please, so that it can make it official. And all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
right. And I think we need to extend an apology to our online viewers. We didn't have them introduce themselves. Dre was there for a little bit, but she's gone again. But we have Lisa and we have Dre. We had Dre.
Okay, we forgot to introduce our counselor from the city of Sault Ste. Marie. Sandra, I do apologize, but we just kept on rolling.
Yes, Lisa.
Lisa. Sorry, Sandra's.
That's okay.
As well, is one of our.
I was running short of time today, so had to zoom in. But I just want to wish everyone a happy holiday and look forward to all the great work we're going to be doing in the new year. And I just want to mention, Diane, I received two concerns about the Spring and Queen. There's no pedestrian light, and I've had two constituents reach out concerning that.
Were they received by email?
No, they called me.
Okay, all right. I was gonna ask if you forwarded the email, but that's okay.
Please do.
Maybe I'll chat with you by email and we'll get a little bit more detail and
Sure.
then we'll have a chat with Dan. I don't know, or Maggie, maybe?
Yeah.
I guess probably Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me or
Call me
Maggie's
Maggie. Yeah, I got a call yesterday and a call today, so that's why I figured I would just bring it up I was gonna see you today, so
Okay. Thanks, Lisa.
you're welcome.
Skinner, can we make sure that the volume's down on that? Cause we're getting feedback in here.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks.
And that is our meeting.
Okay, with that, do I need a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I don't think so.
Okay, then we're gonna have our treats and our whatever, and but I wanna wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we'll see everybody on the 8th.
On the 15th,
15th.
January 15th.
Yeah, January 15th.
And I want, I think it will, I will have to let you know the location. And I also wanted to, put in a good word for Cafe for Good, or treats are from Cafe for Good, one of Lisa's social enterprises, so everything looks fabulous. So
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
All right,
Take care,
That's it.
everybody. Enjoy the treats.
we've got time to, sit with Roy. Yes.
You want to